All right, hey folks, happy Saturday. Jack here. Hope your day is going awesome. So look, we've been talking this week about getting kind of stuck in that beginner phase, right? And when I say beginner phase, here's kind of the way I think about it. Beginner phase is like you can play a song or two. Someone hands you that banjo, you're going to sound pretty good, right? But only with the one or two songs you actually have memorized. If you want to learn to play a song by ear, if you want to play with other people, if you want to just sort of make a song your own, you don't really know how to do that, right? There's a lot of skills that kind of go into this, and very often when we get stuck at the beginner stages, because we're concentrating really mostly on the technical aspects rather than these other things like listening to your ears and that kind of thing. All right, so we're just going to do a small exercise today, but really it's one of my absolute favorites. This helps us take a tab, start to make it our own, and kind of learn to separate, okay, what's the actual essential elements of the song and what is decoration? What can we change? What should we leave alone? So useful, right? And so all we're going to do is we're going to take a super simple tab. We're going to take the first line of John Hardy from my beginner tab book, and we're going to see how we can make that a little fancier. We're going to look for opportunities to add our own touches to it, right? Cool. So let's get into it. So I'm going to pull up the tab right here. Now, normally I've done stuff like this in the past, and I've drawn on the tab with a pen, and my handwriting's so bad that I thought maybe we should try to do it in my fancy tab software. So we'll see how this goes. So I'm just going to play the first line of this tab. We'll do like the first pickup measure in those first four measures. So I guess we're going on to the first measure of the second line here. Okay. That sounds pretty good, right? But what if we were to make it fancier? How might we do that? Well, it might sound something like this. All I'm doing is just adding a couple of small embellishments there. And I'm just going to give you a couple rules of thumb to help you find these embellishments for yourself. So very often, the easiest embellishment to add is a hammer-on, right? So how might you do that? How might you find spots to add hammer-ons to a simple arrangement? The easiest place to look is on beats 1 and 3, right? So the first note of the measure, third note of the measure. If that is a fretted note, chances are that is a chance for a hammer-on, because if it's an open string, there's nothing to hammer on into, right? So we've got lots of those in this pickup measure and these first two full measures, right? So the pickup measure technically starts on beat 3, so this one would count. So let's just start there, right? Well, what we can do is we can just hammer on into that second fret. So that would look like this. Now you notice when we do that, we're shifting the melody note there forward half a beat. That's fine. Like, the listener isn't going to hear that as like, oh, something's off, right? You can go a half beat in either direction. It's going to sound fine, because really the emphasis is on that melody note, right? The same here, right? Beat 1, we are on a fretted note, so we can go ahead, if we want to, make that a hammer-on. Do it here as well, if we choose, right? Here's the thing, right? Like, I'm going to hammer-on crazy here. I would not do all these hammer-ons in real life, but we're just looking for opportunities to add them. So, you can start by marking up a tab and going, okay, here's everything I could add. But part of being a musician is not throwing the kitchen sink at everything, right? You want to use judgment. You can maybe mark all the spots where you could add a hammer on and then go, okay, but these are the ones that actually sound good. And you'll get that just from playing around with it, right? We want these happy little accidents where you are, it's like, oh, that hammer on sounded pretty good. That one, okay, it's getting a little much. Maybe I'll back off there. Okay, so here, beat 1 of the second full measure. We could add a hammer on here as well. Now, a slight change here, right? If you look, we're already holding that C chord, right? So we've got that second fret of the first string. So it's a little weird to lift off and then hammer on to the third fret. We're basically going from the fretted second note to the fretted, we're going from the second fret to the third fret here. So really, we just, if we're going to hammer on here, we just want to hammer on from that second fret. And then here, like, again, a little weird, right? We're going from the 3rd fret to the 2nd fret. I probably would not hammer on from open string to that 2nd fret here. That might be an opportunity for a different type of embellishment, which we'll talk about in a second. But if we look at every possible hammer on here that would sound reasonable, it might be something like this. Because notice here also, we could add one. Well, that's already quite a bit fancier. I would say it might be excessively hammer on E, but these are all your options. Cool thing about this too, right? Like, one of the easiest, best ways to add variety to a song is just sometimes, you know, you're going to do this hammer on. Sometimes you're going to do this one, you know, when you play through it. And without even really having to think about it too much, like now that you've identified all the places that you could add a hammer on, you can just start to mix those up as you play, which is going to add a lot more excitement to your playing. Okay, so now let's look here. Now remember I said, well, we're holding the 3rd fret already, and we're going to the 2nd fret. So it doesn't really make sense to hammer on there. Well, what could make sense though is to do a pull off, right? So we can just start on that 3rd fret and pull off to the 2nd fret. So it would be not bad, right? A little notey, like I said. I probably wouldn't go quite this crazy, but yeah, I think it's sounding pretty good. But that's the key takeaway here. This rule of thumb is when you're going from a fretted note to either an open string or a lower fretted note, well, that is an opportunity to think about, do you want to have a pull off there? That could work just fine. And that's an easy way to find pull offs. Okay, finally, we're going to look at one more small embellishment, and that is drop thumb. Really easy rule of thumb here that I feel like a lot of people don't know about, and it's so simple. And that is, we can look right here. This is our opportunity for drop thumb here in a really nice, simple way. We're going from a melody note on one string to a melody note on a lower string. And it's going to be even easier because they're both open strings. It's going to be... So all we can do here, if we want to, if you're comfortable with drop thumb, you can just add it here. Super simple way. All you're going to do is just add in that lower string right here. Remember we talked about moving that melody back or forward half a beat. That's essentially what we're doing. We're essentially moving it back half a beat here, and it's going to sound really nice. Right? So we put it all together, it's going to be... Cool. And so those are the basic embellishments we can add to that first line. Now it's up to you to not go crazy, right? And just because you can add an embellishment doesn't mean you should. I want you to think about it, and I want you to try to play through this first line. And I'm going to link below. I'll link the full tab here. And I want you to maybe see about marking up the rest of it using these rules, right? And see what you come up with and what you like. All right, so if this is of interest to you, stay tuned. Monday, I've got a really cool offer coming. So check your inbox for that, and I will see you then. All right, have a great weekend.